Learning how to properly rev match downshift is the easiest and quickest way to level up your manual transmission driving. So whether you're brand new to driving a manual, or if you've been driving manual for a while and you just haven't learned this skill yet, this should by far be the next thing that you learn how to do if you already have the basics down. So the term rev match is from the fact that you are switching gears and then matching the revs, or the revolutions per minute, of the engine to the corresponding speed that you're going. Because at the same speed, different gears require the engine to be operating at different RPMs. So here are the steps. So currently in gear, this is fourth gear. And let's say I'm cruising along, so I'm pressing the gas a little bit, coming up on maybe a tight curve or something where I'm going to need to downshift. So I'm going to take my foot off of the gas, press the clutch in, and while the revs are still hanging where they were, so before the revs have a chance to fall, I'm going to blip the throttle, and then going to move the shifter to the lower gear. And then I'm going to bring the clutch off the floor to the engagement point and then start getting on the throttle again, and then bring my foot all the way off the clutch. All right, so you've taken your foot off the accelerator just for a second, pressed in the clutch, blipped the throttle so that the RPMs of the engine rise, and then you've moved the gear shift from the gear that you're in to the gear that you want to go to, in our case, fourth to third. And then the last thing that you have to do is re-engaging the engine with the transmission. So you know that the clutch has an engagement point where it starts to bite and engage with the transmission. So this differs from car to car. Like for instance, in this Abarth, the engagement point is a lot higher off the floor. So it's like maybe 60% of the way up off the floor. And I drove a Corvette one time and the engagement point was like right off the floor. Like, you know, less than an inch off the floor, the engagement point started to kick in. So that's just something that you have to figure out for yourself in the car that you're driving. So whenever you're allowing the engine and the transmission to re-engage with each other after you've rev matched and put the transmission in the next gear, you're going to bring your foot off the floor to that engagement point and allow the engine and the transmission to start to engage with each other. And then you're going to slowly transition that all the way off. So here's what that looks like. So you've got your foot off the gas, clutch, rev, shift to the engagement point, and then off. Let me do that again. It's hard to explain every single step and do it because you have to do it a lot quicker. So off the throttle, clutch, rev, shift, engagement point, and then off. So that same process works in any gear, and you don't have to actually pay that much attention to the specific revs, because once you get used to your car, you know about where the revs are for each gear at a given speed. And really, like, I operate more off of sound and feel. So like I'm coming up on this turn here, and I'll just do it real quick. Like all three of those downshifts were pretty good. And I wasn't looking at the dash at all. So just the standard rev match, that's for situations where you're not actually hitting the brake, right? You've got only two pedals that you're using, which is pretty convenient because you only have 2 feet, right? So there's another way of rev match downshifting called heel toe. And the term heel toe comes from the fact that the idea is that you're hitting the brake with your toe and then you're hitting the throttle with your heel. Like that. So let me go ahead and switch to the pedal box camera so you can get a better idea of what this looks like.
I do apologize for the pedal footage. It's really cramped in the Fiat, so I wasn't actually able to get a great angle of it, but hopefully you can still see what I'm doing.
So a heel toe works just like a regular downshift, just you're trying to slow down a lot faster, right? So it's like if you're coming up on a really tight turn, or you're coming up on a stop sign or a stoplight. So it works the same way in how you use the gas and the clutch and the gear shift. Just now you're throwing in the fact that you're hitting the brakes. So there's two things that make this a little bit trickier. One is you're slowing down a lot faster, so you have to guess what your revs need to be. It's a little bit harder to guess because of the fact that you're slowing down as opposed to maintaining the same speed. And it also becomes more difficult because you're pressing the brake and the gas at the same time. So here's what that looks like. Let me do that again. So I'm starting to brake, right? And then I'm throwing in the other steps of the rev matching while still pressing my brake with my big toe of my right foot. So I'll do that again. But yeah, it is a lot harder to guess what your revs are supposed to be. So I over rev and under rev a lot more on the heel toe than regular downshifting. And to be completely honest, I haven't completely mastered this skill. It's something that I'm still, learning to get better at as well. Now, my problem in this car is that the pedal box is pretty small and my feet are pretty big. So I can't actually use my heel toe. It's really more like a big toe, little toe.
So I hope this quick informative video was helpful for you. Please let me know if you have any questions below in the comments. Happy to expand on any of the topics that I discuss in the video or answer any questions if maybe I didn't explain something well enough for you. And please let me know if you actually do implement any of the tips into your driving and see better results in your performance driving specifically. And if you don't currently have a manual transmission car, check out this video right here to see why maybe a Fiat 500 Abarth would be a good affordable choice for you.